Hey, my name is Chad. This video, I'm going to talk about my last PRS match, which was honestly total trash. But I'm going to share it all, even the bad stuff. This was likely one of my worst performing ones in a long time. So let's just start at the kind of beginning of the week. I decided I was going to attempt to make it down to Texas to the Gravestone Precision. They're a little ways out of Fort Worth, Dallas area. From my house, it's about 3.5 hours. And I kind of did the math and figured I need to leave by about 4:30 in the morning, knowing how slow I get moving around first thing in the morning after I wake up. I decided to set the alarms for about 2 o'clock. And then Friday night, got everything prepped. I ended up actually staying at work until just after 9. So then I get home and get everything loaded, got everything as laid out, put together, ready to go as possible. But for some reason, I don't go to bed till almost 1 o'clock. And then the alarms go off at 2 o'clock. I want to say I probably got about 40 minutes of sleep. And then just got up and went ahead, took a shower, and finished loading up and took off from the house. Now, fun thing, this is kind of in what would be called Texas Hill Country, and GPS does not work very well in that area. So I'm driving down thinking I'm heading in the right direction, and then I will hear a sound and says GPS signal lost. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Keep on moving. I check and I'm like, well, I'm still a couple miles away from where the next turn should be. Next thing I know, GPS reconnects and tells me I gotta do a 180, go back up. I want to say I missed like 2 or 3 turns going down there. Added some time to the journey down there. So I get there right as the meeting is about to start, get signed in and zoom down. I have no time to really look at anything, get set up. There's a bunch of people standing around a guy talking out of the back of a pickup truck. So I walk up there and I'm looking around. I'm realizing there's about 50 people at least all gathered around here. And that's a lot for what I've been doing. 13, 15 is about a full-size match. I want to say 20 or so, 22 at the Clinton range is about the most I have ever seen at a match, and this was well over double anything I had seen before. So I'm already got myself a little bit nervous. I know I didn't get any sleep, and we get broken up into a bunch of groups, and they were going to end up running 8 stages for the day, 10 on each. Now this place is really, really nice, well laid out, well thought out. The targets are definitely challenging, and we'll just say this is what I'll call my throwaway match, where I have to go to a place and visually see it myself before I'm any kind of confident. So I was having jitters the whole time and really just not very confident in anything I was doing. But we get split into groups, get over to the first stage, and my group starts on a PRS skill stage, which I'm like, okay, I know the layout. I went ahead, finished getting all my gear together. We get up and going, and I managed to make it through the whole thing, but I only finished with 2 scored hits. You've got to do a big and then small circles, and they're at 400 yards, and it's an 8 and 6 inch target. So they're not particularly tricky, but I just didn't do very well on this one. I think I got my first shot, got a hit, and then I was just off a little bit. And most of the stages, I was just off a little bit and did not really think well enough to correct anything. Next, we moved to what would end up being a kind of cool stage that was called Sticks and Stones. This was probably one of the trickier thinking stages. There was 3 groups of targets, farthest at 405, middle at 350, closest at 315. Each target group was a couple of prairie dogs, one standing up, and that one they called standing, and then one that was down on all fours, so like down long ways, and they called that one walking. Now what you have to do is go up to the first position that was on like a stick, like a tree trunk, and go to the farthest target at 405 and shoot the walking prairie dog first, and then the standing prairie dog second. Go to the second position, come to the middle target, and then shoot the standing prairie dog and then the walking prairie dog. Then go to the next position, come to the near target at 315, go back to walking first, standing second. And then go to the fourth position, go back to the middle, and standing, then walking. Then the fifth position, walking, then standing. So this one was tricky because if you were shooting at the wrong group of targets, even if you got hits, they didn't count. If you shot them in the wrong order, those hits did not count. So you have to remember to shoot the top or bottom target and at which position as you walked out and back, or back and then you worked in and back out while moving positions each time. So this one, I think I only scored 2 on that one. And I couldn't remember the walking and standing thing, so I noticed as I was looking at the targets, they were all, standing was all on top and walking was all on bottom. So I just made myself a note on my card here for each of the positions, like high, low. So I put HL, and I would note to either shoot the high target first, low target second, or LH, so low target first, high target second. And I just made myself notes all the way down. I don't remember if I even made it all the way to the end of this one. I kind of messed myself up on this when I was getting everything together. Wind was kind of blowing from one direction, and I had everything prepped for that, and I should have been about 2/10 left. Right before I go up, I noticed that the wind had changed and it was almost a straight line with it. So I was like, I'm just going to take it all out and go 0. And for some reason, once I get going on a stage, I cannot feel the wind change. And this is another tricky location where most of the shooting positions are like covered. So you got trees around you, but then you're shooting out past across fields that have open area and then up into hills and down into hills. So the wind at the targets is often different than the wind at the shooting position. So that is really got to be the thing I focus on next. I don't think I have any matches coming up for several weeks, and learning wind is high on my to-do list. I really got to get that down because that's definitely where I'm losing a lot of points. So make it through that one. I only scored 2, I believe. Then we go to one called the pipe fence hustle. That one, there's a cattle grate fence, and you have to shoot at a 400-yard target. That's about this position, and then shift about this much to a 600-yard circle. That's a 10-inch, and take your 1-2 shots and then move down. Like if you started at the top of the cattle gate, move down to another rail and then go left, right again, move down or up. You just have to move up or down in between each group of 2 shots, and then left, right, move again, left, right, move again, left, right, move again, left, right. This was another one. My bag is really good once it gets settled and stable. I want to say the first position I moved, I picked up my rifle and my bag fell off on the front of the cattle grate, so I had to try and keep my rifle pointing straight up and squat down and reach around to the front of the, pick it up and get to the next position and then get settled in and going again. I just kind of lost a good bit of time on that one, and I was not having, I think, any luck at the farther target. I don't remember where my misses. That one I only scored 2 on as well. A lot of these stages I really only scored like 1 or 2. It was really an overall bad day, I'll admit that. Then we go to the 4th stage, and this was when I really started to feel the lack of sleep and the heat. By this time, we were getting up into the low to mid 90s at this stage, and we're kind of out in the open on top of a hill, and I was definitely starting to feel the sun. And I decided to wear my pants that I did most of the winter matches in, where I've got knee pads are built into them, and then my usual shirt that has my logo on them. I really like those shirts, but they do not breathe very well. I really should have wore something like this shirt I'm wearing now and the pants I'm wearing now, even though they don't have knee pads in them, which was very helpful at this place. A lot of gravel and stuff, so getting down on your knees happens quite a bit in this sport, and man, knee pads are awesome. But I really shot myself in the foot by wearing clothes that were too thick and didn't breathe well. So as the temperature warmed up, I was really starting to feel it. So this fifth stage that we did, or fourth stage that we did, it was stage 6 in the overall numbers. This was called the truck bed, and you have to take your first 5 shots with pretty much your feet on the ground. Like, you've got to be touching the ground and use the truck bed for support and get your first 5 shots off. Then you've got to get up into the truck bed and set up, and you can't have anything, your feet, or if you're using a tripod for rear support, you can't have that, anything touching the ground. Everything you're using has to be inside the bed with you for your second group of 5 shots. Now, this was the first time I've done this, but we're shooting out at a target 505 yards away across the pond, and there's like the back berm built up, and there's a target on a T-post, and this is my first time to do a mover, so it's moving from left to right, and this is my first time to do one. I was kind of excited about it, but super nervous. I thought I was going to be able to figure out which direction it was going and like dial in my wind and then add in the extra 1.2 to 1.5 mils that I needed for the lead, and then just aim at the center of it. Something I didn't work out quite well, so after my first 2 shots, I saw they were totally missing. I just dialed back to regular wind and then tried to lead ahead of it. And then I think either my 3rd or 4th round, one of them had a little burr on the neck and it would not chamber, and I was fiddling with it for a little bit. I finally just ejected it and loaded the next one and tried to move on. But I started to get, I think, 2 hits from the low position, 1 or 2. I finally was getting hits on it, and then I got through all my 5, jumped up into the bed, got on it again, and I want to say, I think I saw that I got 1 hit, but I'm pretty sure they only counted 2. We'll see this as you're watching right here, because I tried to film as many stages as I could with the trigger cam. I only filmed a couple of them with this camera. It was just miserable, and setting it up after a couple stages. Actually, I think this truck bed stage was the last one that I filmed with this camera, because it was just hot and miserable and I didn't feel like doing it. So, downside to doing everything on my own, yeah, I could have used an extra set of hands, but it was a miserable day. It was just not fun. But anyways, it was really cool, but I didn't do very good on this stage. So it was nice to finally get to shoot a mover and see what, like, you've got to, know your targets here, and then use the lines that are in your crosshairs and lead out about 1.5 mil worth of windage. So like, the target's coming this way and you're looking at the 1.5 mark, you're out ahead of the target, and when it gets to about 1.5, then you pull the trigger, and hopefully you're hitting the target 500 yards away. So there's a lot more finesse and sometimes luck that goes into that one, I think, but I didn't score very well, but I had a good time, and I finally managed to start getting some hits on it after I worked through a bad round. So I got to figure out what's up with that one and either fix it or chunk it, because I don't want to have that happen again. So then we move over to what they call rockin' big and small. This one we're kind of shooting across that same pond but from a different angle, and there's big rocks set up and you got to get up on them. There's some squares at 572 yards. Go to the first position, set up, big, small, move to the next position, big, small, next position, big, small, all the way down 5 positions, big, small on each, 10 shots. So this one, I think I had my wind correct, but I dialed it in the wrong way, if that makes sense. For some reason, this was when I was really starting to feel the sun, I think, and I dialed the wrong way, and then wasted my first couple shots, which really bummed me out because that was the most stable position I could get. I could set up my bipod at the front, use the rear bag for support, and got real stable. 2 shots, but I had my windage off. So corrected that, moved to the next position, and then I think I started getting some hits there. I kind of was taking my time at this point and not even making it all the way through all the firing positions if I was not getting hits. So I tried to slow myself down just to not waste rounds at this point. I was just having a bad day. I knew it was not going to get much better if I fired more as opposed to less and tried to get hits. So that one I scored 3 on. It was actually one of my better scoring stages, pitifully. It was starting to get pretty rough for the day. Then we moved to one called a Hummer troop line. And this one you got to shoot from the hood of a Hummer, 5 shots. There are small diamonds at 300, 400, 500, 600, and 700. And you get set up at the first position and go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then move to the back of the truck and shoot from the bed all the way through the same 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For some reason, I was just off on this one, and I could not figure out exactly what I was doing wrong, but I was doing something wrong, missed every single shot I took. I only shot the first 5, and then I kind of slowly moved over to the next position and got set up kind of slow, and then I ran out of time. So I timed it. I only shot the first 5, didn't even bother with the next 5 because something was off and I couldn't figure out what it was on the clock. For some reason, as soon as the clock starts, I'll know what I need to do in practice, and before the stage starts, I'll have a good plan. As soon as the clock starts, I'm just done, which is the weirdest thing to me because I'm usually really good at following through on plans. But for some reason, in a match, I completely fall apart. And now that I've been doing it for a little while, nobody will like coach or give you reminders, anything like that. They don't call out like if you're missing off to the left or the right, or if you're high or low. They only do that for your first match or 2, and then from there on, it's all on you. So I've just got to get better at the seeing where I miss and knowing how to correct for it, and knowing how to read what is happening downrange wind-wise, and knowing how to implement that from the firing positions. So that's my next big goals. We'll see how that goes. Then we move over to one called poly pipes. So just some round pipes set up, and you got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of like a pyramid, and 5 positions, and there are 5 targets out surrounding a old truck with a berm behind it. Really funny. I thought there was 3 on the front part of the truck, but there was only 2. One of them was a shadow, and my eyes, I couldn't make out the target color and the shadow color, and I almost shot at something that wasn't even there. But thankfully I asked first. But this one, you get to the first position, shoot the leftmost target, 2 shots, move to the second position, go to the second target, 2 shots, third position, third target, fourth position, fourth target, fifth position, fifth target. And thankfully on this one, I was one of the last ones. I think on the Hummer stage, I was first. So this one, I got to be last. And the first couple guys that went, they were all missing pretty consistently, and I kept hearing them say, man, that mirage is bad down there, mirage is bad down there. So once I got on my rifle and took my first shot, I missed up, I think, high left, and I could see the mirage they were talking about. Like, you had to zoom out almost 10 or 8 power just to be able to see the targets. It was just a soupy, wavy mess down there. But corrected down low left or low right, and boom, got a hit, I think. Moved to the next, boom, got some hits. Moved to the next, got some hits. Ended up getting 5 hits on that one. That was actually ended up being my best stage, and most people's it was one of their worst ones. So I don't know how that works. If most people do good on a stage, I seem to just bomb it completely. But if people have trouble with it, I'll do decently good on it. I don't know what's going on, but I gotta figure it out. Then we go to the last stage, just some concrete culverts, and there's some diamonds at 450, and then another group of diamonds at 550, big, small at each location. So you go to the first position, shoot the near diamonds, big, small. Second position, go to the far one, big, small. Third position, come back to the nearer one, big, small. Fifth position, far one, big, small. and last position, near one, big, small. So you got to go back and forth on the targets as you're moving positions, and you can't reuse a position. So I got in the first spot and get down there and look, and I can see the first target, but the second one, I couldn't even see it. So I was just kind of guessing where it's at in the berm. It had been shot up so much, and it just blended into like the shadows that were in the berm behind it. I had no idea where it was, so I was just throwing the second shot somewhere at the berm to the side of the target that I could see. Then go to the next position. I could see that one a little bit better. I think that's the only one I might have got a hit on. Then I think I moved to the third position, and I just kind of piddled around and took those 2 shots, and then I don't even think I moved to the fourth position. I just waited for the time to run out, and I called it good. So I only got 6 shots off on that one. I think I got 1 hit, another one of my worst stages, but at that point, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm already at about 12 hours of being awake. I was feeling it, and I was exhausted. If you're the kind of person that is not going to let something like a bad performance one time slow you down from trying to get better, go ahead and get subscribed, because I'm going to be pushing it hard now to correct this massive error that I had here. So stay tuned, we'll see if we get any better. Alright, so here's the bad news. I'm putting it at the end this time instead of at the beginning like the last couple of match reviews, because I am embarrassed with this one. There ended up being a total of 46 entries there, so 46 people shooting this match. Insane to me. But it was pretty cool seeing that there's that many people. I think I might have been the only one, or one of the only ones from Oklahoma there. I ended up coming in 41st, like way down there. I scored a couple points in the PRS series, but man, it's embarrassing. I had to get the first run jitters out and go see the place. I got a better idea now. I know how it works. I know what to prepare for, and hopefully next time I'll be a little better prepared. But out of the maximum 80 that you could have scored, my score was 17. Oh, terrible. So I scored about 21% of the maximum score. I took 64 shots, so that works out to about a 27% hit rate. I go from having a near 70 to under 30. I'm very disappointed with myself here. So there's another one. I'm chalking it up to just the way my brain works. I have to know what a place looks like and have a mental map already laid out in my head. Like each of the ranges that I've gone to now, I know where to pull in, where to park, where to use the bathroom, where to sign in, where each of the stage locations are, and if I can drive to them, what the parking lot is at each of those stages. I've got the whole layout already memorized in my head, and this first time I see a place, I've pretty much got to build that map from scratch. So every time I go to a new place, I just am kind of overloaded with sensory information, and until I can get like a base level of familiarity built up, I kind of overrun things in my head, and I'm very good at doing that and then getting myself worked up and flustered, and then I do really poor performance. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Now they do seem to run about every third Saturday. They'll have a match there. I don't know if I'm going to risk it in August. Like, it is miserably hot, so we'll see what happens in August. I think the other match that I usually do at Ninica, I think they're having their night match, and I don't really think I'm going to do that. So I don't know, I'll think about it, but that's in only a couple weeks. I think I need to kind of dial back, and I've got kind of a baseline of all these locations now. I need to really actually clean my rifle. I realized I have not even cleaned it. I've done 3-4 matches with barely any cleaning on it, and that's probably starting to have a bit of an effect. So I need to clean the barrel, make sure it's still good, and holding a good group, because I'm over 2,000 rounds on it now. That's typically about the average for a 6 Creedmoor barrel. So I need to test this, see if it's still holding or if I need to do a barrel swap. Also just got in the S-Series die from Area 419, so we're going to get that set up soon here, probably this next weekend. See if we can combine sizing and mandrel all in one step and save me a whole bunch of time when it comes to reloading. But getting that set up should be fairly simple. but getting it set for shoulder bump and everything. Once we get that in, we should be smooth and reloading a little bit faster, hopefully. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one. Let me know down in the comments. You can go ahead and roast me. I did terrible. I know this. I don't mind. I deserve it for this one. I'm really disappointed in myself just because I know I could have done better, but I just wasn't. And I don't know exactly what I should have done to do better, but this one I'm just not happy with. So chalking it up to the first time jitters. Hopefully next time is not as bad. I know I marked off for some over in the winter, like November and December, to go to this location. Now that I know that it actually takes closer to 3.5, almost 4 hours to drive down there, I don't know if driving all night long, pretty much from 4:30 in the morning, I really need to probably have left about closer to 4 to get there in time to get set up and not be so rushed to get in just in time for the first stage. So pretty much I need to leave the house at 4 o'clock or drive down there the night before, sleep at a gas station and take a shower somewhere near there. That might be the next option I try, but I don't know if driving that long and then trying to do a match and then driving back, there's a couple factors that I think I stacked on top of each other to work against me. Only 40 minutes of sleep. That definitely caught up to me once the sun come out and really started cooking. By the last stage, it was just over 100 degrees and really feeling it. There wasn't much wind, but like it wasn't enough to cool you down, but it was just enough to screw with those bullets as they were flying across the fields and before they would hit the target. But hey, some of that could be I didn't clean my barrel. I didn't do a lot of things that I probably should have done. So we're going to work on correcting those over the next few weeks and then get back to matches maybe for sure in September. I might take August off and just work on a couple things and try to chill. I pushed it hard for the last several weeks, that's for sure. Well, I think I'm gonna get heading home and try to start catching up on a little bit of rest. So thank you very much for hanging out with me in these videos. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. See you on the next one. Bye.